Okay, hashtag wow, hashtag now. And I got done watching Toxic Avenger 2025. It's in limited theaters. And I noticed something interesting. One of the Toxic Avengers was only played at nighttime at 9 o'clock. It was AMC. It was a Rainbow. I don't know, Rainbow. It was Rainbow Street, but I'm not sure what to call it. Rainbow Palace or something. But at any rate, it was weird. It was playing at 9 o'clock only. And the funny thing about it is that just about, not even like 3 o'clock, maybe around 2 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the whole movie was sold out. And then, of course, there were several ones played at the Palms Casino. And surprisingly enough, those were not sold out. So I don't know if it was the time of day I went versus the location. But at any rate, I did manage to see it. It wasn't... And then I know I probably shouldn't do this, but I'm comparing it to the Toxic Avenger that came out in 1984. To see how both of them compare up. And I know that's not something you're supposed to do. Honestly, both of them have a different take on the Toxic Avenger. The one I saw recently, Peter Dinklage played the role. Well, I heard that he didn't actually play the role when he becomes Toxie, like he actually does the voiceover. The whole idea was that in the remake, he plays his stepfather. I guess it kind of adds the idea that he's insecure, like he thinks he can't be a good father. He's a stepfather to his kid. He's going through a lot of problems. Like, I don't know what happened to the original father, but his mother, she died, and he's going through this series of panic attacks that he needs all these medicine. And the thing is, they don't have a lot of money. He works as a janitor at a chemical plant, or again, they're supposed to be the bad guys. The idea that they're poisoning, but for profit. So we're not actually sure 100% what they do. They don't exactly treat their employees very well. And one day, well, I can't remember what to call him. They call him something else. But anyway, he gets diagnosed with a brain disease. That he has 6 months, if he's lucky, maybe a year to live. And he begs this one guy to the manager there, the owner of the company, that please help him out. He plans to be nice, and of course, because we need the plot to hurry up, Peter Dinklage overhears him saying, yeah, it wasn't funny that we screwed that guy over. So anyway, eventually he takes the mop, which of course ends up, of course, if anybody knows about the Toxic Avenger, his mop is his weapon of choice. At any rate, he charges it up, I guess you call it, with toxic waste, and he ends up robbing the factory. At any rate, again, he runs into a reporter that realizes that the company's up to no good, poisoning all these areas, and eventually, yeah, they team up. He becomes a Toxic Avenger, when of course, because they want to get rid of him, and he ends up, again, who knows, something about a rare genetic thing that, again, only allows him to have superpowers. And eventually he becomes deformed, and slowly he learns over time what his superpowers actually were. Like super healing, which, yes, becomes a factor later in the movie. Super strength. And he ends up going around trying to prove, again, that he's the good guy by taking out evil. And taking out evil corporation, exposing them for who they really were. He tries to get back to his son. And of course, eventually, yeah, sorry for all these spoilers here. But of course, you probably saw this coming. Eventually, yeah, it turns out his super healing factors actually cures him of his own brain disease. Now, how does that differ from the original version? Original version, again, there's a character in there, Marvin, I think you could call him. He really is unlikable. And believe me, saying he's an unlikable character is saying a lot, because all the other characters, they're unlikable. They're a bunch of, well, really into sex and murder. So saying that this guy's even worse is saying a lot. Like, he's awkward, he's creepy, he barely even knows he's even there. He's a janitor for no reason. Only the fact that we need him to have a mop. And eventually, everybody, this piles on him, insults. And keep in mind, these are child unalivers. So anyway, eventually, of course, one prank too far. Girl pretends to like him. Tells him put on a pink tutu. He ends up making out with a goat, and eventually he gets all freaked out. He jumps out a window into a vat of toxic waste. Sorry, a barrel of toxic waste. And he becomes the toxic avenger. And the funny thing about this, I think this is a really, really, really funny thing about this, is the idea that being put in toxic waste was actually a good thing. Even his mother approves. I mean, his mother, he lives with his mother. His mother's like, oh, here's him growling and screaming right in he's trying to get the toxic waste off him. His mother's like, oh, finally he reaches puberty. Yay! At any rate, I can't keep forgetting what the radio announcer's name. But the funny thing is, this is actually a good thing. This is actually very smart what he did here. Is that his voice was replaced by a radio announcer, like a radio DJ. And you see this voice, originally hear his real voice, like, oh, okay, maybe I'll exaggerate a little bit, but not by much. But when you actually hear his voice, he's like, well, hello, miss. Can I help you? Let me take you away from this horrible place. I mean, again, he's become stronger, taller, and he's more confident in his people skills. He's more well-spoken, and otherwise, he became a guy you don't want to root for to a guy you want to root for. So that's kind of a big difference between the two movies. Is that in the original one, you want to root for this guy. You want to root for Peter Dinklage to win. Where this one is like, this is a character you don't want to root for to win, but in the end, you end up rooting for him to win. And they even get to the point where, let's see, how can I put this? He does have this, like, these spidey senses kind of thing. I don't know exactly what you call them, spidey senses, but the idea here is that they do explain it in the movie that he has a way of sensing evil, and he has his need, his desire to kill evil. But again, I don't know why they feel the need to have to torture. I mean, they tortured this guy. He's like, no, it's not enough to kill. He actually tortures. That's a big difference there. He spends more time. It is gorier and more clever, like kind of like I think Terrifier type torture. So, at any rate, that is the kind of a difference there. In the movie, they do hook up. They do have a romantic interest with the blind woman. Like, he talks to this blind woman. Again, you see him speak for the first time, and he's afraid that's what he's going to look like. He wants to, can I feel your face? He's like, you're really afraid. Because, unfortunately, he didn't do his complexion any favors. Although, honestly, he didn't have much of a complexion to look for in the first place. But at any rate, eventually the town loves him until he kills an old woman. And he realized, no, she was part of some white slavery thing, so, don't worry about it. So there's a lot to talk about. So anyway, the difference between the two, again, is he becomes a likable character when he becomes in Toxic Waste, where Peter Dinklage is always a likable character you want to win. They don't mention the whole spider sense, like the whole idea of that you have the desire to torture and kill evil. There's no love interest, but he does get closer to his son. The town, on the other hand, is more likable in this version, in the new version, versus the old version where everybody's unlikable. Well, sorry, most people are unlikable. So again, I'm not going to say which one I like more than the other, because each one has their own charm. So the question is, which one did you like? Do you like the original version? Say, nah, the original formula is fine. Do you like the new version? Again, both of them are good movies. Honestly, I kind of thought that the other one was okay. I mean, it's worth watching if you just want a movie, you just want to be entertained. But at any rate, what did you think? Do you like the first one more? Do you like the idea that an unlikable character becomes likable because of the toxic waste? Do you think, no, you just need to get some super strength, they're fine. Write a comment below. And always, let's give me to 1,000 subscribers. And if anybody has any ideas how to get more subscribers, I am not very smart when it comes to YouTube. Not dumb, it's not smart. But at any rate, please leave a comment below. And as always, well, hope your day sucks a little less. And despite what you hear about toxic waste, stay away from toxic waste. They won't give you superpowers. Have